guys, so I'm just gonna make a quick video about shading techniques and what tools I use to create drawings such as these. So yeah, let's get started. You generally need the most important would be a dark pen. A dark pen has like a sort of thick ball. I don't know if you can see that, and then you need a light pen. I mean, this is just a regular pen. Like this is like fucking Katie Orthodontics or something. It doesn't really matter. Like it just has to be one of the pens has to be distinctly softer and lighter than the other. And then you need a Sharpie pen. I use these for creating the outlines here and there, as well as for the very dark areas. And then I have a faber castell. It's like an ink marker, and that's for these areas where it's pure black, and I'm too lazy to shade it in with a pen. And then I have a gel pen, which is really bad for shading, but it's used for creating higher detail outlines, like for instance the area around the eyes, like here, these areas, you know, these were all done with the gel pen. So, but primarily you've got your dark pen and your light pen. So then for techniques, like the most important techniques would definitely be to first, what I like to do is have I can demonstrate this, but yeah, and here are the differences between the dark one and the light one. The bottom one is the darker pen, which is this one, and then the top one is the other one. But I can demonstrate for you. Hold on. What I generally like to do is, with the darker pen, you can draw the details, like such as the holes. Like these are all done with the dark pens. Like for instance, I could draw like a hole like this. Like this is what I did for the holes basically. I drew it like this. Like I would only fill in like the top part and leave like this little white area down here, so it would look like that it was like an indenture, and then I would do that again and again. So like sort of like little letter C's. Sort of. And then I would fill them in a little bit. I mean, this isn't really that hard, and then you can take the lighter pen and shade in between, like only in between them. Like don't touch them, but in between them, like this. It doesn't even have to be good looking. Like as you can see, this isn't even good looking. I mean, you can even do this. Just shade in between them and leave a little white ambient area around each circle, and then you can take the same pen again and then go over the whole thing like this, fairly lightly though. And there you can see how the holes are made now. But you should generally be shading in a circular fashion like this. Like on a smaller scale, you should be shading in a circular fashion because that helps the ink blend easier. And when the paper comes to a certain point, it will have enough ink on it to where you can ink over it just like this, and it won't affect the results. Like it'll give you that glossy layer over it that makes you feel like it's blended in, like such as I've basically gone over this whole thing like this to you know, blend in all the ink. But so basically that's the general technique I use for the face. Just darker circles, and then shading in between, and then you can see how that looks. I guess that's a quick close-up of what is actually here. So that's the technique for the circles. As for the eyes, the pen blending, you can use a freehand motion for that. You can just this is what I basically did for the eyes. I just went like this over and over again until, and to go over certain areas in dark, you want to shade over them repeatedly with higher pressure. You don't want to just, you know, push down really hard to create a dark line. You want to keep soft, and then to achieve a darker color, you need to repeatedly shade over it and not just apply higher pressure. Like that. Let's see. Another thing is, when shading with any of these pens, usually you can see the, I don't know if you can see the point there, but anyways, like the point of the pen is like this. Like I'm drawing, like, okay, pretend this is the point of a pen. This is the point of a pen. You should be shading right, you should be using around here to shade. This area. You should be shading on the side like this. If you push down directly, it won't give you any of the results that you want. Like you need to shade like from the side with a fairly loose grip in order to achieve that ideal release of ink onto the paper, to, you know, so you can use it to blend. Because if you get too much, then it just you just like, it just completely ruins everything. Here, as you can see, shading lightly with the side of the pen, not like this, not like this, like this, you can achieve pencil-like ambient and radiant effects. Ah, fuck. Okay. Yeah, you can see that. Like this one. That's what you want. This is what you don't want. But the general technique overall with pen is to first go over the small details with a dark pen, then fill in the shaded areas with a light pen, and then once you have the ideal amount of ink on the board, which you'll know after it's easier to run the pen across, then after you have a lot of ink on there, then you switch to the light pen again, and you just go over the whole thing, like, not that fast, but you need to go over it slowly like this, and then eventually you'll have the results you want.